Welcome back to the channel for a review of yesterday's game, Port Vale against Orient, which ended up Port Vale 2, Orient 3. Well, what can we say? Well, let's start off by saying yet another Darren Moore disaster class. Not a masterclass, a disaster class. I tell it how it is, and unfortunately, it's got to be said, it was a disaster class. From the team he picked, to the tactics he used, his influence on that game, in my opinion, cost us. And as I keep harping on about, it's a game of fine lines, especially when you get to League One standard. A lot of the teams are much of a muchness, not a lot between them. So picking your best side and tactically getting it right is imperative in our division if you're going to be successful. And as it's been proved, if you don't pick your best side and you continue to be tactically naive, you end up like us. 7 games in, 2 draws, 5 defeats. And if you look at the whole managerial career managing Port Vale in League One from Darren Moore, his record managing Port Vale in League One now stands at 3 wins from 24 games. Incredulous. So, let's look at his team selection. Now, we're playing Orient. Quick on the break. You've got Connolly and Ballard up front. Neither of them over 5'8". So what do? I tell you what. Let's play Ben Hennigan. Let's play Ben Hennigan at centre half. Let's not pick the best back three that we've got. Let's pick Ben Hennigan. For a game, you couldn't pick a worse game for Ben Hennigan than having Connolly and Ballard running rings around him. Awful decision. That back three yesterday should have been Kyle John on the right-hand side, Cammy Humphreys in the middle, and Connor all on the left. No. We have Ben Hennigan. And if Mitch Clark is fit enough to be on the bench, and when he came on he was doing long throws, he ain't got a rib injury then. If he's fit enough to be on the bench, he should have played. 100% he should have played. But no, we played Ben Hennigan. So that's the first one of Moore's disastrous team selections. The second one, Jermaine Edley. He was awful at Reading. Terrible. Liam Gordon should have played yesterday instead of Jermaine Edley. Better defender. He's been better this season than Jermaine Edley. George Byers. Oh my goodness. George Byers at Reading. Again. Awful. Funzo Ojo is 1, a better footballer than George Byers. 2, has been head and shoulders proven to be better this season than George Byers. But no, we play George Byers. And the third one, anybody who watched us against Leeds under 21s, when Mo Fall come on, he was terrible. Fair enough, he scored his header, but he was terrible again. Rory Payton should have had the opportunity from the start. And all those team selection mistakes over the course of a season add up. And all those mistakes he did yesterday were totally justified with the people when they came on. When Gordon came on, we looked better. When Ojo came on, we looked better. When Rory Payton came on, we looked better. But no, Darren Moore doesn't get it. So where we're at with this then? Well, we're 7 games in and we haven't won. Coming up after the next 6 games, we've got a bad run, Bolton, Stockport, etc. For me, if we don't win one of the next 2 and we're going into that 10th game still looking for our first victory, he has to go. He's been given all the support any manager could wish for. He's been backed to the hilt. Every Port Vale fan knows that squad is good enough to at least be mid-table, if not up to about 10th. And the reason we're not is because of Darren Moore. Yesterday, we go 1-0 up. We get the perfect start. 1-0 up. So what do we do then? We sit off them. We sit off them for the remainder of the half. Creating our own problems that culminated in us going 2-1 down at half time. And you can't say they didn't deserve it. It could have been more. With that goalkeeper that we've got who dropped it, that was no foul. It could have been 3-4. He sat off. Instead of playing like we did, with intensity, with pressing, like we did at the start of the second half. No, he sat off. Unbelievable. Unbelievable decision. And again, he plays the 3 midfielders yesterday. Not one of those makes any sort of forward runs. They've obviously been instructed not to. Nobody gets foot. They're all similar. Everybody knows they're all similar. We need one of them to be that link behind the front 2. But no. So we play 5 at the back. And we have 3 sitting midfield players. Tactically, he beggars belief. Right, so let's get into the team then. Morosi in goal. So a 6 is average. Below 6 is poor. Above is better than average. Morosi. Oh my goodness. He made 1 good save in the first half and that was it. He was a shambles yesterday. An utter shambles. Won't come off his line. Not commanding of his area. And the one that he dropped. Wow. You wouldn't see that in Sunday League. Never mind professional football. There was literally no foul on him whatsoever. And to get away with that, we were so lucky. He was garbage yesterday. And for that, he gets a 4. Right, let's go on the back 3. On the right-hand side of the back 3, Cameron Humphreys. You have to play him in the middle of the back 3. He's less effective when he's changed on the left, like he was at Reading, because he dropped Hall. And then he put him on the right, put him in the centre. Put him in the centre of the... But he can influence the game. He's the best passer of the ball that we've got. Put him in the centre of the back 3. No, but instead we put Ben Enigan there, who yesterday was spraying passes into the Lawn Street stand, railway paddock, anywhere but to one of our players. Put him in the middle of the back 3. Play your best players in their best positions. So, Cameron Humphreys, he was less effective than he usually is. I think, given their style of play, I think that tested him a little bit. But he was okay. He was all right. Distribution at times was worse than it has been, but he was okay. So he gets a 6. Ben Hennigan, awful. He was terrible yesterday. His distribution. He looked like a League Two footballer. He was awful. His like I say, he hadn't got a clue yesterday. And it was the wrong game for him. But that's not his fault. It's the manager's fault. Should not have played yesterday. Should not have played. So, Ben Hennigan. He gets a 5. Awful. Connor all on the left-hand side. Steady game by Connor. Usual stuff. Got booked early on, which I thought was going to be a problem. But he managed the situation well, and for that he gets a 6. So moving on to the wing-backs. Kyle John. Going forward, he was magnificent yesterday. He was good. He was good yesterday. Boundless energy, tenacious in the tackle. But what was disappointing is, sort of for the goals that we conceded, he's caught ball watching. And sort of before you know it, he's lost his man. And that Connolly's nipped in at the back post. And that was disappointing. But other than that, he had a cracking game, Kyle John. But he should have played right-hand side of the back three. And we'll talk about Mitch when he came on to replace him. I thought Mitch did well. Up and down. Obviously wasn't injured because he was taking long throws. So Kyle John, we'll give him a 6. He would have had more if he wasn't ball watching for their goals. On the other side, the other wing back, Jermaine Edley. Wow. From what I've seen, he is not up to League One standard. He's defensively a liability. Partly the reason being is everybody sussed him out. He doesn't use his right foot. He stands on it and that's it. Not only that, he gets caught out of position. And yesterday, it was as bad as it has been all season for him. He was awful. He was terrible. For their second goal, caught in possession, very weak, ponderous. Looked like a National League player yesterday. When Liam Gordon came on, defensively we looked better. Jermaine Edley gets a 4. Garbage. So let's move on to the midfield three. Ryan Croasdale. Ryan Croasdale had a good game. He ran his heart out, took his goal well. Bit of composure, good finish. And I thought he had a cracking game yesterday, Ryan Croasdale. All effort. I thought his distribution was good. So Ryan Croasdale gets a 7. Reece Walters. Reece had a good game. He's a class player, Reece is. Absolute class. Makes time on the ball. Drifts past people. Absolutely class above. Distribution was good yesterday. I thought he tired a little bit towards the end. But I thought he was good. So Reece Walters, he gets a 7. George Byers. Wow. You would have thought after his performance at Reading, he would have really wanted to stamp his authority on that game. He was garbage. He wasn't even that good. Alfonso Ojo is not selected above him, given performances this season, just shows that Darren Moore is clueless. George Byers yesterday, he looked about 45 around that pitch. He's 28. His movement is shocking. Not only that, he slows it down totally. Ponderous on the ball. And yesterday, oh my God, he had a glorious opportunity When you look at other sides in this division, they take their chances. We look like a Sunday League side with our finishing. He was on the right-hand side of the box. He got time to even take a touch and drill it across the goalkeeper on the other side. He passes it into the side netting. I was amazed. And quite rightly, he was dragged off at half-time. Because if that's our captain, all the fanfare of George Byers, he ain't for me. Funzo Ojo gets in that team over him every day of the week. He gets a 4. George Byers was awful. So we move on then. Well, we'll just touch on Funzo. Funzo came on. What a difference that made. What a difference that made. Energy. He played. This is what it's about. Darren Moore played him for the full 90 minutes against Leeds under-21s. Right? George Byers is 28 years of age. Funzo Ojo is going on for 35. He's played a full 90 minutes in the week, and he's running around that park with energy. He's dynamic. He should be in that team over George Byers. So Funzo gets a 7. And the other incredulous thing, we signed George Orr. He was fit enough to be on the bench when we played Birmingham in the Carabao Cup. For Birmingham. We sign him, and Moore comes on the radio. Oh, we've got to get his volume up. Oh, we've got to get his levels up. Well, Birmingham mustn't have thought that. He's fit enough to go on the bench for them. But no, we've got to get his volumes up. Well, surely. He could have come on for the last 20 minutes. He could have been in the squad. But no. No, we've got to get his minutes up. Sports science. What a load of rubbish. So we move on to the front two. Mo Farl. Another more disaster team selection. He's not up to it. I thought when he came on, when I saw him at Blackpool, I thought, yeah, that's the man. He's not. He's not up to it. He's not good enough. You can't play him in League One. For all his size, doesn't hold the ball up well enough. And that again, it's fine lines. He had the opportunity when 1-0 up to go 2-0 up. He was like Bambi on ice going through. He was falling around everywhere. He fell over his feet in the end. Awful. He was terrible. He looked like somebody that won a competition to play football, professional football yesterday. That's how bad he was. But again, down to Darren Moore, because Rory Payton should have played from the start. When Rory Payton came on second half, changed the dynamic totally, linked the play with Cole, he was doing the job where we should have the midfield player of the 3 behind the front 2. He was dropping deep, collecting the ball. We looked a far better unit going forward when we got somebody doing that job. So Mo Farl, he gets a 3. Garbage. And when Rory came on, brilliant. Rory gets a 7. Now for the man of the match. Thank goodness we've signed him. I've been harping on this channel before the Talib, when we were linked with him, when we were looking for forward, where we wasting money on players like Ben Waine, where we were wasting loan fees on Mo Farl, where we were wasting loan fees on that Brown from Derby, not a finisher. Just go and get Devante Cole. I've been harping on, go and get Devante Cole. When Talai had gone, it was a no-brainer. Don't get linked with Ollie Pearce from York City, a non-league forward. Go and get Devante Cole. And thank goodness common sense has prevailed. Because he looked class yesterday. It's amazing when you get somebody who can play at the level He was class. And he'll score goals at our level. If you look at the goal he scored yesterday, none of our forwards can do that. He was first, his reaction to that ball, when that ball hit the post, he was nowhere near it. But his reaction time to get across and then put it in, class. And when he laid it in for Crowsdale, tell you one thing, moving in like he did on that left-hand side, other forwards would have had a shot. But he could see him queuing up in the middle. Great ball across. Total class yesterday he was. His link-up play. He's what we've been dying out for. If he, fingers crossed he remains fit. Fingers crossed he remains fit. And he was my man of the match yesterday, for which he gets an 8. One other thing to touch upon. Apparently, we have signed somebody in the summer called Jordan Gabriel. Has anybody ever seen him or heard of him? Yeah, Jordan Gabriel, yeah. He's played for, we had him from Blackpool, apparently. Apparently, he's fit. He's not injured. But he's not in the squad. So, apparently we got this player called Jordan Gabriel. So we move on next week to Exeter. And like I say, if he does not win one of these next 2 games, surely just get rid of him. Should have got rid of him. We should have got rid of him when we got relegated from League One. That's when we should have got rid of him. Because then he got 17 games to get 16 points. Nowhere near it. And like last season with that squad and everything he got, sending Funzo Ojo to Shrewsbury and getting Rakeem Harper in. The man's not up to it. The manager's not up to it. He isn't good enough. And consistently makes the wrong choices. The weakest link we have at the moment is not any of those players, is the manager. They need to get somebody who is better. So 7 games in, still haven't won. Next 2, surely he has to go. But we see. We move on to Exeter. So thanks very much for listening. Please like, and more importantly, please subscribe. And hopefully, we will be going up that table soon. Up the Vale!